Hey guys, welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. Now today this is one of the 3 counter-attack champions in the game currently, as of today. That is Skullcrusher we're going to go through. I've been asked by a few people to do a quick champion review on this guy, so let's go ahead and do it. So like always, I'll quickly start with the skills, then we'll go through everything else. So he's a defense-based champion from the Ogren tribes. Like I say, one of the counter-attacks. Counter-attack is massive in this game. It's actually ridiculous. They only have 3 champions that can do it. Skullcrusher is one of 3, like I say, and the other 2 are legendary. But yeah, you don't necessarily need it, but it makes life so much easier if you have counter attack. You know, like especially for clan boss. I mean, dungeons as well, fire knights, things like that. Just makes life so much easier. So his skill set is A1, is pretty meh. Attacks one enemy, 50% heal reduction if the target's defense is lower than the champion's. Damage based on defense, obviously, and it can be booked up to another 20%. So, kind of not the best A1 in the world. His A2 is his only other ability that attacks, or does something, I should say, that's not passive. It places a 50% ally protection buff on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. Now, before I go on with the whole counter attack part, the ally protection is huge in this. It's effectively like a shield. I think people get a bit confused at how ally protection actually works. But just think of it as another shield. That's really the best way to do it. And also, after that, this is the main thing in this entire kit that makes him good, is places a counter-attack buff on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. Then places unkillable buff on this champion for 1 turn. So, a couple of things to note here. So the other 2 counter-attack champions actually put counter-attack on the entire team. So he's the only guy that doesn't put it on the entire team. He puts it on everyone bar himself. But to change things up, instead of having it on himself, he puts an unkillable buff on himself, which makes it a little bit different and viable for different situations, we should say. I use him in clan boss to be targeted by the clan boss for a stun, which is perfect because the clan boss is always going to favour targeting someone without a counter attack on, because then, you know, the clan boss isn't going to get attacked back via the counter attack. So that actually works out perfectly for what I use him for anyway. But yeah, this is that's his main ability. It's like a shield slash counter attack, and he's also unkillable. It's crazy actually. It's really strong. He also decreases the duration of all debuffs in this champion by 1 turn at the start of each turn. So again, if you're wanting to take off stuff like your stuns and all that, that's super cool. It just takes it off as soon as it gets to his turn. He also has an aura, ally resistant faction crits by 45. Yeah, not massively needed to be honest, but your main thing's Stonewall. I mean, this is it. He doesn't even need this first ability, it's just Stonewall he needs. So let's go through what stats I have him at. Now I have him a little bit different than everyone else is going to have him generally, because I've speed tuned him for Clan Boss, Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss at the moment. He's running 243 speed, so that is a lot of speed. He doesn't necessarily need this much speed. I could easily lower this to like the 191, which is a kind of a typical clan boss build for a Skullcrusher. You want him going just before the clan boss attacks. Now the clan boss runs at 190 speed at Ultra Nightmare, so if you have him at 191, he's always going to go straight in behind the clan boss and then put up the counter attack, and then your champions are going to attack on the AoEs if you time it right. But yeah, like I say, if I went to 191, that's going to free up, you know, nearly 50 odd speed, which means I can pump way more into defense, all these other things. So defense is what he does damage off. He's not a big damage dealer. I mean, his counter attack doesn't actually attack like Valkyrie's does, so he's not getting loads of damage there. So I mean, it's good for survivability really, so you want to pump this as high as you can. Attack is meaningless in this. HP you want around the 40k mark really, just for survivability, because between the ally protection, 40k HP, and then realistically if you're not going this speed, you could be up to like 5.5, 6k defense. He's going to be super tanky. Crit rate and crit damage are just total luxuries if by any chance you've managed to get all those stats and you've got the gear with extra crit rate and crit damage on it. You've hit the home run. That's like the perfect build. But you don't really need to worry about it. Like, I've got half decent crit damage here and not good crit rate, so it doesn't really make a difference, but it's just the gear I had. Incidentally, this is the one thing I suppose, you could build him resistance if you're using him in arena, which he is actually pretty good in arena. That ally protection again is super strong in arena, so Yeah, that is pretty useful. The accuracy is the one stat you actually really have to be wary of. Now, he does land a debuff, you see. And it's the heal reduction debuff. Now, a lot of people forget, but if you're facing clan boss, I mean, this guy is a clan boss specialist. I know I keep going on about it, but that's why I'm going on about it so much. The heal reduction debuff will take up a slot that a poison would ordinarily take up, which is something to really think about. So if you are building this guy for clan boss, I would ideally, I mean, I've got his accuracy too high. I'm currently, I've got a couple of rolls. I think I've got an accuracy on here, but that's quite good. There's a couple of accuracy rolls I got on a couple of bits of gear that I'm looking to change out, because I'd like to get this, like, I find about 80 and below pretty much guarantees on Ultra Nightmare that you're not going to hit your debuffs. Like, I do occasionally hit the debuff with 119 speed, accuracy. It doesn't happen very much, but it's still a bit of a pain when it does happen, because, like I say, it does take up a slot that a poison would normally take. And I run Frozen Banshee, so poison sensitivity is up, so I'm already losing a slot from that. And then if I've got this on, that's another 62,000 damage every turn I'm losing, and this is doing nothing to the clan boss. So that is something to keep in mind. On the other hand, if you are using them for, I don't know, someone like the, I think it's the Spirit Keep, the one, which is the one that, I think it's Spirit Keep that heals, yeah. So you could use it for heal reduction to a good effect, but personally I would just totally try and wipe out any accuracy on this guy whatsoever, because he's going to be used on clan boss, really. This is where he's going to be used mainly, so yeah, just go for that. The gear I'm running is 2-piece speed, one of them being divine speed. I got good rolls on them, and a 1-piece immortal. Again, it's a bit of a specialist build mine, but the reason I'm doing the 1-piece immortal is because I need the clan boss to target Skullcrusher, and he has to have a little bit of health every time to make him keep getting targeted. So because he's got the unkillable buff on, he goes down to 0 health when he gets stunned, but he doesn't gain quite enough life back through one of his masteries that I'll show you in a minute. So I need the immortal set to get him that extra bit of health every turn to make sure that he's got enough health to be targeted again. Check out my video. I've got a video coming out on the clan boss team that I run in the next few days, so check that out if you would like, and that'll explain it a bit further. But yeah, so divine speed, speed immortal. Like I say, you don't need to build them with this much speed unless you're doing a team like mine. 191 would be suffice, or if you're just doing nightmare, which is totally viable with this guy destroying nightmare actually, or even below hard and brutal. This guy's insane for it, so just gild him as much speed as you can, really. So I've got crit damage, attack and speed on the weapon, which isn't ideal. The attack is doing nothing, so that could have been nice, but you don't get defense rolls on the weapon anyway. Helmet, I've got crit rate and speed again. I guess, as you can see, it's speed I'm going for here quite a lot of. Again, I could do without that accuracy. It's not the perfect rolls in here, but I've got a good defense roll there. Then you really want, those 3 stats are always going to be the same as normal. It's defense, HP and attack. But what you want for your gloves and chest speed is defense. So you want defense on the chest, defense on the gloves, and then just a combination of like survivability, HP, speed, try not to get too much accuracy, crit damage, crit rate, things like that. And then speed boots generally, unless you can generate enough speed through the rest, and put on defense boots. So that's totally viable. It's not viable for the build I'm doing because I need that high speed. But if you're running, say, hard, if you're running brutal, nightmare even, you could easily get away with defense boots as well, and really boost his defense up to like 6k plus. Do a bit more damage with him, and as long as you've got the speed rolls and all your gear, you'll be able to get him up to the speed you need as well. So that's something to think about. And then on his accessories, just defense all the way. So defense on that, defense on that, defense on that, and then again you're just looking for, there's a double defense roll, that's really good, a bit of speed. Attack's not ideal, some crit damage is fine, bit of HP, you know, HP, defense and crit damage is kind of the ones you're mainly looking for. Attack does absolutely nothing here, so as you can see I've got him on very low attack, and he's got a low base attack, so, but you do not need it. Right, now let's have a quick look at his masteries. Clan boss specialist again, so you're going all the way down to War Master. Obviously you want those procs. He is actually hitting pretty hard with me with a 4.5k defense, so he does proc pretty nice. He can do, you know, anything between sort of 60k to 100k damage really every time with the hits on the clan boss, which is really nice. And so I've gone this way. Increases damage inflicted by 5% when attacking with 50% HP or less. Now this is subject to the build that I've made. Now obviously because my Skullcrusher's getting targeted by the clan boss, he's always going to be quite low in health. So this is just a nice bit of extra damage, but you really have to build your masteries around the sort of team you're using. That's why I always tell people, because if I was just running a solid team with, you know, Duchess and him like I used to do, and just loads of survivability, he's generally going to be, and Valkyrie with the shields, he's generally going to be above that 50% mark. So you probably want to do this one, the Heart of Glory, because this isn't really going to do anything bar the last, you know, 3 or 4 turns when they die. So you've got to take this into account. All this kind of stuff standard, you know, the methodical is really good. Bring it down is a really good one as well. Then I went straight down the defense tree. You want 75 extra defense, can't go amiss. Decreased damage from AoE, which is great for the AoE damage from the clan boss. You don't want anything that affects turn meter if you're doing a speed tune team. So there's a bunch of stuff, especially in here, things like this, or even I can't actually affect the cooldowns of skills either, because my skills kind of time themselves to come up with my clan boss build, so I can't use anything like this. So like I say, it's all really subject to the team you're using them in, but this sort of, you know, you can't go wrong in a clan boss build with this anyway. You don't particularly need the other stuff. This is great to delay death, and then the 2 counter attacks obviously are really handy as well. So let's go ahead and review him. Like you see, he gets fantastic reviews everywhere. He's a definite 5 in clan boss. Probably he's not the best counter attack in the game, but he's the most useful for clan boss, I think. Just with his kit, it's just that little bit different. Valkyrie's probably the best actually, because of the shield. It's great survivability, but I feel Skullcrusher, he can be used in so many cool builds, and he's really intricate to work with, so I think I prefer him. So he's definite 5. Arena defense, he's a 5 as well. I mean, I've seen some teams use him top arena. Incidentally, if you are going arena, you just want to pump up massive defense again. I wouldn't worry about accuracy in arena. That 50% heal reduction isn't going to do enough to warrant you putting all that stuff into all that resources into getting more accuracy, because once you get to high end arena, you're looking at like 300-400 plus accuracy, which is just going to take away from his stats. So just pump up that defense. Is a really easy champion to deal with actually, and then loads and loads of speed. This build actually would probably be quite good for arena, so he's a 5 for this. 4.5 for arena offense. He's not doing much in the offense route, but he's more a defensive champion. But you know, they always say the best offense is a good defense, so a 4.5 I think. Fire Knights is fantastic because he's a counter attack. You really need counter attack for Fire Knights, unless you're running like crazy strong Xavias and some insane Cold Heart builds or something like that. So yeah, Fire Knights is definitely a 5. Ice Golem's Peak again. You can't, counter attack's just so useful throughout the game that he's actually just good everywhere. Minotaur's definite 5. Spider's Den, he's not fantastic actually. It's probably about a 3 there. Like I say, the heal reduction, even if you did get it up, doesn't affect the spider anyway, so that's not going to make a difference. Dragon's Lair, fantastic. It's damage mitigation plus counter attack for getting rid of stuff. That's really good. Campaign, he's solid again. Yeah, I would give him a 5 for campaign. Not the fastest in the world, but he'll get you through content because he's fantastic. And then all these keeps, they are piece of piss. Like I said, the spirit keep down here, you can put heal reduction on, which is super useful for this, but I wouldn't build him with accuracy just for the spirit keep because it's such an easy dungeon. And Faction Wars is a definite 5. You need him for your Faction Wars team, really, or you will not be able to complete it. So that is that, folks. So submit the ratings. Great, so I hope you've enjoyed it. This, if you do have Skullcrusher, he's going to make life a lot easier for you. I feel if Plarium, if you're watching this video, you need to introduce some new counter-attack champions like really badly, because it's, I know so many like endgame players that have been playing for so long, you know, spent thousands on the game, and they still don't even have one counter-attack champion. I've been lucky to pull quite a few, and I think I've pulled about 5 Skullcrushers now, so but yeah, I think another one needs to be introduced. But he is the easiest to pick up, he's probably the easiest to build as well. And yeah, he's fantastic. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, hit that bell button for new notifications for my videos, and have a great day, people.